Lean bulking post-cut. I will be as blunt and direct with this information in this video and teach you exactly how we do a lean bulk. Here is a prime example of a client of mine. Started at 78, we cut down to 70, and then we entered the gaining phase, and now we're back at 78. Same scale weight as before, not the same shorts, but a much, much better look. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Tom Sergi. I run the Gorilla Platoon, which is an online physique transformation program where we get results like this. And what I'm going to give you in today's video is how to lean bulk from a client result. So I'm not going to tell you the world according to me. I'm just going to be like, this is what we did. This is the result we got. If you want to follow it, nice. If you don't, go fuck you. I'm only joking. Okay, let's roll straight in. So the first thing to understand, and I don't mean to be patronizing, but you must get lean first, obviously. But the reason I have to make that point is people will try and lean bulk like this, and it would work technically, but I don't think you would have the mental stomach to be able to do it. And the reason I say that is, even if you start to bulk from 17% body fat, you're going to put on more body fat, right? And if you're already around 17% body fat, then you're going to end up in like the mid-20s, which means when you cut and you want to get down to like 8 to 10, your dieting phase is going to go on for ages. And if your dieting phase goes on for long, you're going to run the risk of losing the tissue anyway. Plus, like, you've got to understand, you're someone that gyms, right? You go to the gym because you see yourself as like a muscular, athletic guy, or you're trying to get to that point. If you're that's your identity. Let's be honest. Anyone that goes to the gym, it kind of is part of their identity because you have to do it like 4 times a week and eat a certain way. So that's kind of your identity. Like what you do, consistently throughout the week and the way you eat. Like they all say, like diet's almost like a religion. That's your identity. So just understand that. And when you're going to go from this and continuously bulk, you're going to get further and further away from your identity. Your identity being like someone that's in shape, someone that goes to the gym. So if you're getting further and further away from that, mentally, that's a real tough pill to swallow. And some of you will be able to do this. If it's your, like right now, I'm on my probably 3rd round of bulking, and I don't care that I'm looking soft around the abs at the minute. I don't care. I understand the delayed gratification approach. But I've been really lean and I've been really soft, and I understand that, and I've done the mental trials and tribulations to get there. If this is your first time bulking, you're going to get softer, you're going to look fatter. So if you don't get lean first, that's going to happen a lot quicker, and I just think you'll run out of the mental bandwidth to push through anyway. And besides from that, the fatter you get, the less responsive you are to the use of carbohydrates. Anyway, the way you'll partition nutrients. So it just makes sense to get lean first, which is what we did here. This is 8 weeks, a quick in and out job, really night and day difference. And then our foundation is set to go on a nice gaining phase, which will then take us into the main part of this video, which is step 2, the lean bulk. Now, when you do the lean bulk, the way you're going to approach this is you've dieted yourself down, right? So you'll be on, I don't know, whatever it took to diet down, maybe 500 calories below maintenance, maybe 600 below maintenance. And you'll be on, let's say, 60 minutes of cardio daily. So low calorie, high output. To go into a lean bulk from there, we want to use these tools to progress forward. When we're lean bulking, the real goal and the real mission is to secure new numbers lifted in the gym. It doesn't matter what you do with your diet. If you do not get stronger week on week on week, over the course of the gaining phase, you will not be building tissue. It's that simple. If you cannot tell me, week 1 I was lifting 28 kg on the incline dumbbell press, and now at week 14 I'm lifting 42s, then perfect. That's the data to show you've got bigger and stronger. If you're sat for like 4 kilos up from that, you're not going to build much muscle. Like, let's be honest. So we want to focus on that, and we want to support that. So that's your mission. Support the growth of the numbers in the gym through what we do with the diet and the output. So what we're going to do is reverse out of the diet. So you're at your diet, you've got lean, perfect. Now what do I do, motherfucker? You're going to add an extra 200 calories straight away. Obviously, if you're in a big deficit, you might want to go a little bit higher, 250, 300. The reason you want to staircase out of it is you want your body to get used to taking more food whilst also keeping the condition. The term lean bulk was meant to say, keep me lean whilst I bulk. The way you do that is not by sending the food all the way back to maintenance, because your body just won't be able to like use it efficiently without storing it as water. Look at it like this. I've done videos on how to do like peak week and high carb day. Even on just one day of having high carbs from dieting down, if we don't get that number right, you will fill up the stores, but you will overspill. And overspilling means you add essentially water outside the cell, and it gives you that washed out soft look, which you don't really want. So that's one day. If we were to do that for a week straight, for sure you're going to be washed out and soft, and you're going to think, well, if I failed the lean bulk straight away on week one. So that's why we're only going to want to give you another 200 calories. It's probably going to come from carbohydrates first, because we want to secure more numbers in the gym. We want your gym floor performance to increase. So we put 200 calories in around the workout. Simultaneously, I would be saying if you're on high cardio, you want to be pulling that down. So if you're on 60, I'd go straight to 40 and sit at that. And then each week, I'm looking to the scale will increase a little bit because you're adding a little bit more food, but you're still going to be in a deficit, remember. So even if it's actually holding or dropping, that's still normal as well. But you're going to keep adding 200 calories per week, just enough to support gym floor performance, but also enough for the body to adapt, use it, and not mess up the condition that you've worked hard to get for. The longer you can stay in that leaner condition, the longer your off-season is going to last, the more tissue you can go and secure. So you want to get your cardio down to about 60 minutes per week just for heart health. That's the lowest you're going to take it anyway. You could still keep it at 20 minutes a day just for good heart health as well. And from there, you're going to slowly keep increasing the food at around 200 calories. Carbs, you're going to look to push up first. Your protein shouldn't have dropped in the dieting phase. That will go up as a result of the residual protein that's in other food sources. And then you will slowly integrate fats in there as well. So you can expect that you want to assess the data week on week, look at your visuals, look at your scale weight, look at the increase you gave yourself and see what result you got off that. Then you want to decide when to be selective and when to put this food up. So the question is, what rate of gain do you want to be looking at in a lean bulk? Anywhere from 0.3 up to the maximum of 0.6 per week. That's of a kilogram. If you're in pounds, just double it pretty much and times it by 2.2. So that's what we're looking for per week. If you up the food, you saw the increase, don't up it again. Sit at that and wait for it to plateau out. It will plateau out, trust me. Then increase again. Sit at that for as long as possible until it plateaus out. Don't just quickly keep chucking food in. You will get to the maintenance, but don't rush to get there. Now, it's the same when you got lean. We put you on a plan. X amount of food, X amount of output. We want to rinse that for as long as possible because we don't want to just keep taking it down if we can milk more out of the above. We want to milk that for as long as possible because it's tough to go lower and lower. Just like it's going to be tough to keep eating more and more and more. So we don't want to rush that process. Remember, it was always to support the numbers in the gym. So if you've upped the food once, it stayed flat. You upped it again. Now it's started to move. Perfect. Gym floor numbers, by the way, have increasing all the way through. 2 weeks goes by, scale it starts to plateau out. Gym numbers are fucking flying. I honestly wouldn't put it up then. I'd wait the second week, assess it. Oh, it's actually going down a little bit. Right, now add a little bit more food on. And you're just turning the fuel gauge on just to keep the tap running, to keep the train going of building muscle in the gym. Now, that sounds all well and good. It sounds really easy, but it's not. Why is this challenging? Well, let me paint the picture. You've dieted for 12 weeks to get lean. You've restricted yourself from calories. You felt hunger. You felt starvation. You felt restriction from outside foods, eating out, eating nice foods that you normally like to eat. And on top of that, if it's gone on for longer than that, you'll notice your hormones, leptin and ghrelin, which essentially signal to your brain that you're hungry and that you need to eat, they will be slightly elevated as such, which means that you're going to want to be eating more. They're going to be telling you to eat more. And while you will be eating a little bit more, it's not enough to scratch their itch. Their itch is not scratched until you've sat at maintenance for a good 4 weeks. So you're always going to have in the back of your mind them going, just eat a bit more, eat a bit more. We're not dieting out anyway. And it's all, in many ways, it's harder to reverse out of a diet than it is to continue dieting down and get to the lean point. Because when you diet down to get to the lean point, you're locked in. Your discipline's like, no, we are dieting. We're dieting to get shredded. We can't go off plan. And you don't. But when you reverse it out and you are looking to see the scale weight increase and you're looking more food go in, it actually makes it harder to stick to. So it sounds all well and good me telling you this, but you need to have the mental bandwidth in order to stick to this as you go through it. It's tough. Of course it's tough because you've got that wiggle room now. You could have the off-plan meal, but if you rush the process, you're going to overspill and you're not going to have done the lean bulk. Now, if you just need to bulk, then do what you need to do. But if you want to do it properly, this is the way it wants to be done. And you should always attempt with the approach of a lean bulk because it's going to give you the longest window for a gaining phase. I've been gaining since February. It's now August. I think I'm going to need, sat at 87, 87.5-ish, and we want to push to 92. So let's say from 87, that's 5 kilo, 4.5 from 87.5. And I want to try and get that before the end of the year. But that would have been a long time gaining. That would have been like, it's probably going to end up being 9 months, maybe 10 months of gaining. Luckily, I started lean. Luckily, I started like sub or in and around 10%. If I've started a lot higher and I've also not been as rigid with the diet, I'm going to run out of room after 6 months and I'm not going to be able to secure the same amount of tissue. For context, I started at 75. I'm now up 12 and a bit kg. We want to push further another 5. So it's going to end up being another 17 kg in total. That would have been cut short. And you've got to understand you are going to accumulate body fat in this gaining phase. It's not just all pure tissue. So what you don't want to do is lend too much of that to body fat, run out of time and room and responsiveness to food because you just basically were a piece of shit when you came to reverse out the diet. You just didn't have the discipline to do it, and then therefore you then suffered because you couldn't stick to it. You accumulated too much body fat. You had to cut your bulk early because you needed to cut back down to that point again. So that's why it's challenging, but it's so important that you do it like this if you want a productive long off season. What are the pros and cons of this? Well, we'll start with the cons. The cons of doing it like this, it takes a lot more mental strength, a lot more mental bandwidth. You're almost still dieting post your initial diet phase for at least 4 to 6 weeks after. When you hit maintenance and you're then into that little surplus, in fact, one thing I didn't mention was, so you're always going to increase a little bit of food, right? So that you are always gaining. And in a weird way, it kind of doesn't matter what your maintenance is. All that matters is what food am I eating and am I receiving that little increase on the scale week on week? If yes, perfect, keep it like that. But as a rule of thumb, you're going to sit just above your maintenance. But that's going to continuously move as you get bigger and bigger and bigger. Like, I dieted down on 2,800. I'm now on 5,000. 5,000 every day. But it's obviously I didn't jump to that. It's been a staircase approach throughout the time of the gaining phase. So the cons of this are, you're going to feel like you're dieting for longer coming out the back end of it. And that takes more mental strength. It takes more of a human being to actually do this. I would argue, though, there's pros in that as well. Like, you're going to be more of a disciplined individual. You're going to be someone that's proud that they're still keeping the condition. Now, what's the pros of this? I would honestly say that's the only con, really. I would say that's the only con. I don't think either way, like, if you don't do this, you'll build more muscle. I wouldn't say that at all, because remember, we're supporting what goes on the gym floor with food. We just don't need to be trigger happy with how much we're putting in. The pros are, by the way, if you can do this, the challenge, you're going to look fuller every week, but still lean. So you're going to look very, very good, and it's going to be very, very motivating. You're going to look the best you've ever looked because you dieted down. But then we continuously kept your glycogen stores full when you were lean. You're going to look absolutely incredible. So it's going to be very, very good for motivation. Likewise, you're going to be very responsive to the way your body's going to use the nutrients. Therefore, it's going to make for a more productive and long off-season gaining phase. So there are many pros, there are many cons. I would say do it. This is how I do it for guys, hence the before and after. But the point is you need to get lean first, reverse out, gain 0.3 to 0.6 per week. It will be tough, it will be challenging, and not all of you will be able to hack it. But for those of you that can, you're going to reap the fruits and reap the rewards of it. The only thing I'll touch on is, let's say you might get to the point in the gaining phase where appetite's really fucking low. You've pushed a lot of weight on. It may serve you just to do a mini cut and then to go again. You may think, when's a good time to do this? It's going to depend on your body fat percentage. I wouldn't say time, really. I would go off what's your body fat looking at. If you get to 17, 18, but you really want to continue pushing the gaining phase, do a little mini cut, shave off some of the body fat, and then go again. There's no real hard rule for it, but it may be an option that you want to use at some point. I ideally don't really like the idea of that. I'd rather just send it all the way through and then cut again and then get back to leanness as quick as possible. So that's my 2 cents on lean bulking. Hopefully you found it useful. Hopefully you found it simple, because it can be simple. It doesn't need to be fluffed up and stuff. If you said, what food do I eat? The same that you dieted down on, just more of them. Just bulk those meals out. Start with carbs around the workout, then carbs away from the workout, then fats. So good. Hopefully you found this useful. If you did, subscribe. If you want to work with me, great. Book a call and we'll take it from there.